At Nova's request, researchers at Polaroid and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology agreed to look at the photo. First, Brian Hallstrom scanned the negative of the photo to measure the light intensity, bit by bit, of every part of the picture. A computer tape with that information was given to Steve Isabel, who used a number of techniques to increase the contrast and sharpen the edges of objects seen in the photo. An outline has been added to suggest what critics claim is the man and the flash of a gun hiding part of his face. Hallstrom and Isabel believe this could be a man, but this spot is most likely sunlight filtering through trees.
What I see is an object that could possibly be a person. Can you see that?
I think that requires a little bit of imagination, but I believe that you can see something is there about the right size.
Some people believe there's another suspicious shape in a different part of the photo, behind the fence. It's in the same place where Skinny Holland and others saw a puff of smoke and fresh footprints. If that shape was an assassin, this is the view he would have had. The model shows that his view of the limousine would have been partially blocked by a retaining wall on the knoll. Kennedy appears here. A gunman could have aimed and fired. The location of the limousine in the model corresponds with frame 313 of the Zapruder film. In the Zapruder film, it can be seen that Connolly is turning, perhaps in reaction to hearing the first shot. Then both he and Kennedy are hidden behind the sign when they presumably were both wounded by the second shot. Kennedy is struck in the head and killed at this moment. Frame 313. The model does not prove someone struck the president from the knoll. It does show that it was possible. The violent motion of Kennedy's head to the left and backwards is another reason many people believe the shot came from the grassy knoll. It seemed to be a logical conclusion. Dr. Wecht.
If you have that kind of force slamming into the rear of somebody's head, then that should drive the individual forward. But instead we have him moving backward and to the left. That suggests the very distinct possibility of another shot having been fired in synchronized fashion from the right side, the so-called grassy knoll area.
But a test using 6.5 millimeter bullets firing into human skulls appears to discount this argument. Dr. John Latimer, a physician and Warren Commission defender, filmed his own test, shooting at a skull filled with white paint and brain tissue. Shot from behind, the skull is propelled backward, similar to what happened to Kennedy. Although not conclusive, the test suggests the fatal shot could have come from behind. This view also was expressed by the late Nobel physicist Luis Alvarez. So neither the photographic evidence nor the movement of Kennedy's head prove he was struck from the grassy knoll. But much of the eyewitness testimony has never been explained, and there were ear witnesses who heard shots from several locations. Malcolm Summers.
I do think the first shot came from the school book depository up there, and then when the second one came, I did not know who all was shooting. I was thinking it was more than one person shooting. The first shot sounded just like a little pop. It sounded like a firecracker from a faraway distance. The other sounded real close, real close.
Years after the assassination, it was claimed that the sounds of the gunshots that Summers and others heard had been picked up by a microphone accidentally stuck open on a police motorcycle and recorded on a dictabelt at Dallas Police Headquarters. Critics argued the dictabelt recorded the sounds of 4 gunshots, one more than Oswald could have fired. Were the sounds the actual shots? Congress hired acoustic experts to find out. They set up an elaborate test. With microphones placed strategically in Dealey Plaza, they recorded the sounds of rifle shots from the 6th floor of the school book depository and from the grassy knoll. Comparing those shots with the sounds on the dictabelt, they confirmed that the dicta belt actually had recorded the sounds of 4 gunshots, not 3. Then, with a close study of the physical layout of Dealey Plaza, they calculated the unique echo pattern that would be found if a shot had been fired from the grassy knoll. The result was this acoustic fingerprint. This pattern of 26 distinct echoes matched point for point the echoes on the police recording. It led to a dramatic conclusion.
With a probability of 95% or better, there was indeed a shot fired from the grassy knoll.
Challenges to this acoustic finding came from some unusual sources. The most important came from Steve Barber, a rock drummer living in a small town in Ohio.
I didn't have access to the tape recordings themselves at the point where I was, trying to study them. And July of 1979, Gallery magazine put out this special issue on the assassination of President Kennedy. And in it included a paper record of the recorded gunshot evidence. And if you overlook the narration, you can, pretty much hear what they're talking about. Well, anyway, I just played this thing to death, just trying to hear, the gunshots and hear for myself what they really said was 95% evidence of a conspiracy.
Steve Barber alone heard something all the experts missed, the barely audible sound of Sheriff Decker at headquarters telling policemen on the scene, hold everything secure. The stuck open microphone, which was on Channel 1, had somehow picked up Sheriff Decker's words from Channel 2, a phenomenon known as crosstalk. And back at police headquarters, the dicta belt recorded what the microphone had picked up.
I found that when Sheriff Decker is speaking, his voice is coming through the open microphone during the sound impulses that the acoustic experts said were gunshots. But he didn't make his statement until a minute and a half after the assassination had already occurred, so those cannot be gunshots simply because of that.
In 1982, the National Academy of Sciences confirmed the crosstalk Steve Barber discovered, and thus concluded the acoustic evidence of a 4th shot coming from the grassy knoll was invalid.
You still hear it? Yeah.
This left Congress with no scientific evidence of conspiracy. However, some congressional experts believe the crosstalk might be due to a recording mix-up on the dicta belt. And they point out that the Academy did not account for the acoustic fingerprint of the grassy knoll shot. Chief Counsel Blakey.
You can reconstruct an acoustical fingerprint for each of the 4 shots. We did it for the shot from the grassy knoll. If it was to be done for the other 3 shots, it would either corroborate what we did or tend to undermine it. I would like to see what a acoustical fingerprint analysis of the other 3 shots indicates.
So, if there was a grassy knoll gunman, as eye and ear witnesses testified, the best scientific analysis available today of the photographic and acoustic evidence does not yet prove it.